Hey, it's Jocelyn here with Positivity in Pregnancy, where we try to redirect our negative thoughts around pregnancy to find more positive thoughts and more Christ-centered thoughts and good thoughts that encourage us in our role as mother and as bearing God's children. I am so excited that you are joining me on this episode. If you find that it helps you or inspires you in any way to improve, especially in pregnancy, I encourage you to share it with your fellow pregnant moms. Hi, I'm Jocelyn, host of the Positive in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast. I help pregnant women and mothers to find positivity in their season of life through changing their thoughts to work for them and not against them. I help mothers find the small, doable steps in thought and action without making drastic changes to their everyday mom life. And I can help you. Thanks for joining. Hey, if you weren't able to catch last week's episode, I hope that one helped you. Just doing some Pilates really made a difference for me, and moving my body really helped my mental status. It just overall was such a good thing that really did tremendously help me in pregnancy, and I hope that it can help you as you strive to implement it. I have still been doing good at exercising or doing some type of movement for 5 days a week for 15 minutes is my current goal. Start small, but do something. It really is good for you. If you want more information, I encourage you to go listen to that episode. I will link it in the show notes, but it's also the one right before this. So last week I jumped ahead a little bit and kind of told you something I was going through currently, but I kind of have been going back and talking about things that have been happening. Like in my first trimester and the beginning of second trimester. And I meant to introduce myself for those of you who are new. I'm Jocelyn. I am pregnant with my 5th baby. You will get more details as I go throughout the episodes. Anyway, but this is my 5th pregnancy, and I'm trying to learn and implement all the things that I've taught on this podcast. I've been teaching and talking about positivity in pregnancy for more than a year now, and I really wanted to do better in this one. So in doing better, I also wanted to be more intentional about the birth. For those of you who have listened for a while, I did an interview with my sister who last year was able to do a home birth. And I will link to that episode in the show notes if that interests you. And it just sounded like exactly what I wanted. I want to get away from the medical field and not have to kind of depend so much on them and their rules and their stipulations, and kind of be free to do what I wanted to do at home. So I decided that I was going to interview home birth midwives. There are certified home birth midwives, and there are a few in my area. And so I set up and interviewed with a couple of them, and I was feeling good. I was feeling like this is the route I needed to take. I needed to take this home birth route. So I kind of had decided that I was going to go with one of the home birth midwives because I knew her assistant really well. And it wasn't just for the assistant. I did like this midwife as well. She seemed really nice. I actually liked both of them really well. I think they both would have done great for my birth. They were both just really great people. But anyways, because I knew the assistant, that kind of seemed like a bonus, so I had picked her. Well, the assistant I knew called me and said that some things happened and they weren't going to be working together anymore. So I kind of was a little confuzzled and not sure what to do, like wondering, oh, do I go with the other midwife? What do I do? And I will get to a mindset point at the end of this, but this little story will illustrate some of the things that we have to deal with in picking a provider. Nonetheless, I decided to interview a third home birth midwife that I had heard about from a neighbor who lived close to me. And she came over, and I really liked her. She represented exactly what I felt like the medical field should do. They should be there to help you, to inform you, to encourage you, to give you all of the information, and then kind of let you choose your route. She also was very knowledgeable in herbs, and I was really heavily leaning towards just picking her as my midwife. So I decided I was going to give it a little bit of thought, but then the next day I got a text. I got a text from this third home birth midwife that I interviewed and really liked, and basically had told her I wanted her and was leaning towards picking her anyway. And she said, "It's against the law for me to take you in Idaho because you've had a preterm preeclamptic birth." And it took a minute for this to sink in. And I was like, what? I've had 3 normal textbook births after that first one that was, it did happen. I had a baby at 31 weeks that was preeclamptic, well, eclamptic, but I had had 3 babies since. And she's like, yeah, according to Idaho state laws, I can't, it's in the laws that home birth midwives cannot take a preterm preeclamptic person who has had that in the past. And so I was kind of like, well, I want to see the law. She sent me pictures and links to the law, and I just started crying. I was so upset and devastated because I really felt like this is what I wanted. I wanted to be at home. I wanted to be in the comfort of my home. I wanted to feel safe and secure without extra people who I don't know poking and prodding or telling me I had to take an IV or telling me I couldn't eat. Home just sounded dreamy at this point in my life. And when I got told that I couldn't, I was pretty upset, actually. It was not, I was not really happy about it. I even reached out to the other 2 midwives to see if they would take me, and they would not. And so I was really discouraged that the laws in my state said that these home birth certified midwives couldn't have me. The third midwife that I had interviewed was very helpful. She said she referred me to some other medical midwives that deliver in hospitals, but she also told me about something called free birthers, and I didn't even know this was a thing. I may have mentioned it in the past, or maybe that was on a video I did. Anyway, but there are people and women around who are free birthers. They don't have all the certifications and don't have to go and abide by the law, but they help women to birth at home. And so I was thinking about all of the options, and I was pretty upset that I couldn't have this baby at home based on the law, but I didn't know how I felt about the free birthers either, because I have bled after one of my babies, and I wanted to be able to know that if I was going to bleed, that they could give me some Pitocin or something that would help stop the bleeding at home. And so I wasn't quite sure how I felt about the free birthers, and I knew my husband wouldn't really love that idea. And it was just so hard. I really was emotional about it for a couple of weeks because I wanted that, and it seemed like as much as I tried to get away from the medical field, I was stuck. I still had to lean on the medical field. Now, I do have to say a disclaimer here. The medical field did save my life. With that first pregnancy, without modern medicine, me and my baby would have died. I would have been one of the women that died during pregnancy. But gratefully, modern medicine did save my life. Nonetheless, the last 3 babies have been textbook babies and normal, except for the one that I did bleed a little bit after, but it wasn't it was enough to get Pitocin, but it wasn't enough that I had to, it was a real emergency. Anyways, so I just wanted something different, and yet here I was stuck. And so I knew I needed to change my thoughts because I was pretty bitter about the whole system. I was bitter about the laws that said what I couldn't do when I felt like I wanted to decide what I wanted to do. And I was just annoyed. And so I decided to start shifting my thoughts. And that's what I want you to work on. If you've had a really negative situation, work on shifting your thoughts to something that could be positive. So what I chose to think about instead of how frustrated and annoyed I was what if there is a reason for this? Like, what if God is guiding me in this direction for a reason? And that thought really helped to calm my anger and my negative thoughts, thinking that there might be something down the road that I don't know about that I may need a medical professional for. And so I started hanging on to thoughts like that. And it really helped me to make a more solid and sound decision, in my opinion, because I was a little bit more grounded in knowing that this could be something God is directing. And that really helped me. Ultimately, I did decide to go to some medical midwives. There is a hospital in my area that allows women to have a birthing pool, and that is something I really wanted to try at home, was the water, like a water birth. And so I decided to do that. I decided to go with these midwives in this hospital and just go from there. So that's currently where I'm at. When you are upset or frustrated about something, I found that one of the best ways to deal with that is to first just feel it. Feel that negative emotion. And I felt it. I cried. I think I even made a video where I cried. I'm making update videos that I will share with you guys here as I get things going. I'm going to also start an Instagram page, which is coming soon. Anyway, but I just cried. When you are feeling that negativity, just cry. Let yourself cry. Feel it. As you feel it, it helps to heal it. And then you can make a more educated and rational decision versus one based out of spite, annoyance, and anger. I was really wanting to do one out of spite, annoyance, and anger because I was so frustrated. That is not what I wanted. But after I cried, I was able to think about it. I asked around about these midwives and I heard good things about them. And I just decided that I was going to shift. I was going to shift my mind that it was going to be okay to have a baby in the hospital, and that even though I wasn't going to be able to be at home, there might be a reason for it. And that gave me comfort. So find some thoughts that can give you comfort, that can help you when you are feeling these negative thoughts. Those pregnancy hormones seem to amplify the negative things that come my way. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have been as big of a deal as I made it. I did, like I say, I was crying and upset for a while. And it's just something that happens, and it's okay. Give yourself grace. If you are struggling to find some positive thoughts and you want encouragement, pregnancy-specific encouragement during this pregnancy, I have a mini course called the Morning Sickness Mini Course for Mental Health. And it can help your mental health during morning sickness, but also during pregnancy. There's a lot of videos in there that aren't just for the morning sickness time, but can really help you learn how to shift when you get in these negative thought funks, and teach you about things like feel it to heal it, and giving yourself grace, and all sorts of things like that. And they're only 2 to 8 minutes long. Videos that are 2 to 8 minutes long that you can watch anytime. There are actually 48 of different videos in this course that can help encourage you. If it interests you, it is the top link in the show notes, and I hope that you will check it out. I hope that this gives you some encouragement when you have to deal with some hard things. Maybe if it's even a hard thing with picking a provider and you're not sure what to do, or you get told by law like I did. Find those thoughts. You can do this. Your body is so incredible, Mama. It is doing such amazing things in growing your baby. Keep it up. You are awesome. Until next time. Thank you for being a part of the Positive in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast, for listening, for sharing, and most of all, for applying these tools into your own life to improve your own happiness so that you can find your own better thoughts for a better you in a positive pregnancy, in losing that stubborn baby weight, and becoming the mom you desire to be through taking small steps in thought and action to reach your goals. If you are a mother who has an inner desire to enjoy motherhood and pregnancy better, but you are having difficulty figuring it out, I can help you. I can help you find the small, doable steps without drastic changes to your everyday mom life. Reach out, let's connect, and let's see you move forward. My name is Jocelyn, and I thank you for listening. Until next time.